Scared of being a mom? Today, we're not gonna lie.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of NGL where we talk about the things in life that matter. My name is Natasha.
I'm Zeleny.
And today we're back with another episode, and in today's episode we want to explore the topic of motherhood.
Ooh,
Big word,
yes.
big topic, different feelings for different people. So I personally have friends who fall on both camps. I have friends who are looking forward to becoming mothers. I also have friends who don't want to become mothers for a wide variety of reasons, being financial, loss of freedom, wanting to see the world and knowing that it's very hard to do that once you become a mom and things like that. And, going back to the idea of NGL, we always want to talk about things that are on the heart of young adults. And we thought this would be quite a relevant topic for our wanderlust young adults who may be
late
struggling with some of
20s.
these things,
Yeah.
ourselves included, as we think about becoming a mom and moving forward in some of these life stations. So today we have the privilege of having two wonderful mothers with us on the couch. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Oh, okay. Hi, my name is Shunyi. I am a mother of two. I had my first kid when I was 31.
Wow.
Okay. Hi, I'm Huiwei. I also am a mother of two. My boys are 4 and 1, and I gave birth when I was 28.
Wow. Okay.
28.
So today we are here also because we have a big announcement, and it's
Very
a
big.
really, really big one.
I'm gonna be a mom!
This is not a scam. Zhao is really pregnant.
Yeah, can you see the fear and excitement in my eyes? Yeah, so I feel like this episode will be a pretty personal one for me also.
Yeah.
I really relate with the whole fear, especially in terms of giving up everything that I know in my life, like my hobbies, even the person that I thought I was. I heard that children bring out the worst in you.
All the best, all the best. We will talk about that.
Yeah, but
today.
I must say that some of the fears really are things that are kind of things that I do struggle with. But I mean, now being preparing to be a mom, is I have no choice but to face it, right? So today I really want to ask both of you. I mean, they had 2 kids each, right? So they didn't regret having the first one.
I hope.
Yeah, so we want to talk about what are some things that maybe you gave up, and even some things that you gain, from being a mom as well. Yeah. So I think the first question, right? What's something that you had to give up, or you missed after becoming a mom?
Hot food.
Hot food? Why?
Makes sense.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah,
As a
yeah.
mother, you will know what I mean. Because
yeah.
you have to feed the kid first. I realized this after I was a mom for a while, right? That every time there's a plate of food put in front of me, I eat super fast. And I never used to be like that because I'm a foodie and I really savor my food, right? And I really like my food hot because I feel like when it's served hot, right, then that's all the flavors. But after having a kid, right, you need to cut the food for the kid, you need to prepare, then you need to feed. Then by the time you eat your food, right, it's all cold already. That's why Mama Bear has the cold food, in Goldilocks.
Yeah,
Wait, how
I
about
think
you?
another one that definitely have to give up was uninterrupted sleep.
Wow.
I think I get to sleep now that my kids are a bit older, but it's interrupted. Like yesterday was every hour. He woke up all the way until I think 12 a.m. Then he slept till 5 and then woke up again.
This is bad news for Zell. Zell loves sleep.
Yeah, actually, I feel like one of my very few talents in life, right, is to be able to sleep through the night. I don't wake up. But now, when I'm pregnant, right, sometimes I have to wake up to go to the toilet, in the middle of the night. But I can just fall asleep, very easily after.
Yeah, that really is a talent.
Let's hope your baby
I always
inherit.
very scared because I'm a very heavy sleeper. I'm very scared I cannot wake up when my baby cry.
Ask your husband.
I hope Brian is a lighter
Lighter
sleeper.
than me. Okay, I guess it's his duty.
Then were these things that you guys thought about before becoming a mom?
I think the idea of motherhood seemed very nice initially. I mean, you have cute kids who will laugh and smile at you. But so I didn't really consider all this. I mean, sleep, yes, heard of it before, but never thought that it would be to the extent.
Yes.
Yeah, survive
Yes.
on 2 hours of sleep every day.
Yeah. I think I also never really expected the amount of sacrifice lah. I think it's really a bit more like the natural progression of life, right? You get married and then I think my only concern was okay, I wanted to build the marriage strong. before I had kids. So I was like, I intentionally like spent the first 2 years establishing, like forming, deconflicting with my husband, like, just living together. And then after that, we're like, okay, you know, now it's time to have kids lah. Yeah. So I think when I wanted to have kids, I also didn't think that it would be that fast. I'll be like, oh, okay lah, you know, slowly take my time, figure it out. Then like very, very shortly after I realized I was pregnant, now I'm like, oh no, full on panic, you know. Then so I realized that, oh no, I'm not prepared at all. I don't even know what I'm getting into. But like, you know, I have a deadline, like 9 months later, the baby is gonna come out.
You're the kind of person that like to do a lot of research and be very prepared. isn't it?
Correct, yeah. So I want to know enough of what I'm
relate.
going go through. So I'm the kind that will read a lot of books.
Okay.
I would sign up for parenting classes, like pregnancy classes and stuff like that lah. But I think practical is very different from theory lah. So
Wait, how about you? Have you always wanted to be a mom?
I wouldn't say always wanted. I mean, I didn't hate kids. I mean, like in my early 20s, I, like many of us out there, right, we like to play, like to have fun. So I think for me, I came to a point where I felt like I traveled enough.
Wow.
I did what I wanted. I did bungee jump, I did skydiving, which I wouldn't do it now that I'm a mom, right? A lot more considerations.
Cannot.
Yeah. Can lah, but more things to worry lah, more things to worry.
That's true. It's
if
like,
anything happens,
Because they will make you sign the paper, you know, like if any
Yeah.
mishap happen, they will not be held responsible. So, I mean, I did all this and like job-wise also kind of worked for a few years. Then came to a point where I felt like, okay, I think I'm 玩够了啦, you know, I'm ready to take it another notch and explore having kids. Yeah.
wow. So how was it for like the first few months? Was it what y'all expected?
What does anybody expect actually?
Can you still remember? So not your
Yes,
second
yes.
kid, your first kid, first few
Yes,
months.
One word.
it was depressing.
Horrendous. Not to scare you.
Okay, we do real on NGL, okay? But they're laughing now, so I guess.
We survived, yeah. We are
We
here.
survived,
we're
we
here.
survived, yeah.
Okay, so depressing.
Yeah, I think my first kid, it was so depressing for the first few months, right? That I think even up to a year after my first kid was born, when people ask me, do I want another kid? I'm like, okay, let me just live through this trauma first. Yeah, so no lah. So I think it was just like what I said lah. There was just a lot of things that I did not really expect, because I'm a very, very extrovert person and I really value like connecting with people. And then I had my kid just before Chinese New Year. Yeah, and I had a very, very big family and traditional families. Like we will all gather 50 of us, you know, in one house. And I really look forward to Chinese New Year. So like being trapped at home during confinement, right, was really horrible. It's like, I remember it was like the New Year's Eve night, right? And then everybody went out to have reunion dinner. Even my husband like went to reunion dinner with his mom's side.
But then you cannot
So-
come out of the house.
Yeah, so I was like alone at home on Chinese New Year Eve. Then I was like, wow, that's depressing. And then also because I feel like my priority was very different than like my priority was my baby. Yeah. And then like even if people come and visit me, right? Firstly, I feel horrible because I look horrible and I'm in pain. I think I look cui, you know. Then I don't really want people to come. But yet I desire that company.
Connection.
Yeah. So but then when they come, then once my baby cry or once I need to feed, then I will excuse myself. So I also feel like I didn't really have that capacity to really have a connection and conversation with people that I treasure. So after a while, after trying a few times and it just didn't really work out lah. Then I just felt like, I think when I attend like gatherings even with my baby, right, I just choose to stay one side. Yeah, which was very, very different from who I was lah. Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me, learning curve was very steep. I mean, I also read books, spoke to mothers who went ahead. But nothing like what I expected. So many changes, emotional changes. Because I used to pride myself as someone who is very strong, like, you know, I don't cry easily. During the first few months, I just kept crying, like non-stop. Eat also cry, watch TV also cry. So I didn't quite understand what was going on emotionally. Why was I so messed up? Yeah, so like my hubby will just stare at me like, again, like don't know how to comfort also, because nothing helps then.
And there's
Yeah.
no trigger. Like
Yeah,
just
no
cry.
trigger. So sometimes I also wonder, hormonal changes, like it just
yeah.
mess things up completely.
And your job is a school counselor, right?
Yeah.
So actually you are professionally trained.
Yeah, yet despite that,
Process
I
things.
couldn't counsel myself. Yeah, I was just kind of spiraling. I think that was the closest I came to like postnatal blues. Yeah, but thankfully I didn't really spiral into it. And then there are those physical changes like Shunyi mentioned. I think staring at the mirror was very painful, and especially when I tried to fit into my previous clothes. Cannot fit, and no matter how much I squeeze, I just cannot go in. Yeah, so I mean, those are may sound very lame lah, but I think those were
it's
at the
very
time.
real.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
very painful, and of course that wound I sat on the float for 1 whole month because I couldn't sit on hard surfaces. So it was so painful. Yeah, so all these things. I was
We are scaring them. I think we are scaring
Okay, the joys will come later.
Wait, not everyone's going to be like this.
Of
Okay?
course. Yeah, we must have a disclaimer there. Yeah. But okay, second choice a lot different.
How was your relationship with your hubby during those moments?
Wow.
Yeah.
I wondered if he was still my hubby. Okay, I think strong words, but okay, I think birth of a child changed the dynamics of marriage so much.
Yes.
The part about physical changes, I started to doubt whether I was still attractive. I resisted his hugs and all this because I felt that I was not worthy to some extent lah. Yeah, I think I had this perception that I had to be in a certain condition, certain state, then I would be loved. So a lot of insecurities, a lot of questioning.
Yep.
Yeah, so at the time also, I didn't want to talk to him, even though I needed to share, but I didn't want to share. Again, hormonal changes, I don't know what's going on.
Because you were also like trying to figure it out yourself.
Yeah, I think
first,
so. I
isn't
think
it?
so. Like everything is so messy. You want to have greater clarity before like talking it out. Because I felt like the whole world moved on other than me. My hubby went back to after paternity leave, went back to work, went back to church to serve while I was stuck at home. Because I took no pay leave also, so I was stuck at home for like 7 months. Yeah, so everything just moved on, but I couldn't tell day from night. I couldn't tell the day. I couldn't tell the time.
There's no such thing as weekday, weekend.
Yeah, it's just a
right?
routine.
Same.
It's just eat, poop, sleep, eat, poop, sleep. Right? Yeah.
Wow.
So-
Then your friend, how about your friends?
Yeah, because I got married at quite an early age, 25. I gave birth at 28. So a lot of my peers then, they were not in the same life stage. I think that also got me doubting and questioning now whether they truly understand. No doubt they try to be there. They send food, they send hampers, but when I couldn't really find someone who could identify with me, again, it just caused me to spiral even more lah. Yeah,
So you felt very alone.
felt alone. So what was helpful was I intentionally tried to reach out to older, like mothers who were a bit older lah. Not my peers, but they went through what I went through, and they could help me see that there is light at the end of the tunnel. It's not so gloomy after all.
So it's a bit like me now, looking at your
Yeah, the lights, the lights.
therapy.
Yeah.
But do you expect that it will be so hard?
Definitely not. I think I saw maybe social media, like I said, right?
motherhood very nice.
Babies all very cute, right? Then they will always be cute. Wow, but when they don't
Cute
sleep,
'cause
they
you
are
can hand
demons.
over
Eh?
when they cry lah.
But if it's yours, got
Yeah,
got
yeah.
return policy.
Correct.
Yeah, it's like as an aunt, I'm very happy.
I
Because I
too.
play, then he cry, then I give my
Yeah,
brother.
yeah.
That's right. That's right.
A lot of unexpected things, right?
Correct,
Yeah.
Shuni leh, how was like your relationship with your husband?
I think I'm generally a much more like faster paced person
Okay.
than my husband. Already on normal day, because as a dad, right, actually he's quite clueless on. Yeah, actually I feel like they also have a transition period. But I think mothers, there's just this instinct, right, to act faster. Then I'm already faster than him, so I'm like twice faster. So there are sometimes, right, I remember there was one time my kid had eczema and it was quite bad. Then like I was already like Googling what to do, figure out whether I want to see doctor, what kind of doctor, blah, 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 blah. And then he was just like not doing anything. And I got so mad at him for not doing anything. And he just looked at me, he's just like, I don't think the way that you do doesn't mean that I don't care. Then I like, okay, it's true. But you know, like my natural assumption is like, wow, hey, you know, you are so chill as a dad. It's like, wow, it's like, you don't understand the stress the mother then you face. Yeah, that kind of thing. So I think it strained the relationship. But thankfully, we had that 2 years to like already work out some of these things, right? And I think what was helpful was then like being very, very directive and obvious about what I need. Yeah, actually, yeah. So I'll be like, can you do this? And you do this? And you do this? Yeah, that kind of thing.
Was
So
that hard for you though? Because there are so many things on your mind.
correct. But I feel like that would help me in the long term. Yeah, because I know that there's some people who are like maybe a bit more like you like that. Like you feel like wow, don't really know how to communicate what you need, right? Yeah, but I feel like that was very, very important for me. Yeah. So at the very, very first period of time, because my kids like your kids, so don't sleep one. Yeah. So in the end, right, I just told him, okay, I need you to take this shift. Like when is this shift, right? I'm gonna sleep no matter what. You wake up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was
Help
very
break it down
directive.
for
Yeah. But and then I realized that he's actually more than willing to help. It's just that like if you don't do that, like you don't do some like planning, yeah, it will not work. Yeah.
Wow.
On that note, right, how do you make sense of like alone time and me time? One of my fears of becoming a mother, right? Because I'm an introvert, I really, really, really need alone time and downtime, even away from my husband.
Is it
I
even
fear
possible?
That, after becoming a mom, I will never get there again.
Actually, I think coming out with a daily and weekly routine helps. Yeah, so like in my daily routine, even when I have a newborn, there are times where, like for a few hours, it's mainly my husband's job. Like after I feed, then my husband can take over. Or like when I put him to nap, then that's when I already know that okay, I have maybe a hour or two, to do something that I like. So I already, as much as he's in the same room as me, I consider that quite a me time lah. Because I do have some time to do my own reading, to do my own reflection, to do my own whatever I want to do, like catch up on drama or whatever. Yeah, so actually, practically that would look like that. And then like weekly, we do also kind of have some time where we arrange with our family. Then we just go to a nearby place, like eat an ice cream, eat a waffle, catch up with each other, and then go back lah. Yeah, so I think having those routines doesn't make the whole year crazy lah. It's not like one entire year you cannot do anything.
I'm
Right?
laughing because I'm like, now I remember all the times my mother dropped me off at my ama house.
Yeah, it's true. But there are also times where I feel like, I am reaching a level of stress and anxiety where I will call a timeout with my husband. I'll be like, hey, take the kids
Take
for
over.
15 minutes.
Yeah.
I need to like retreat to my room for a while. Then that's when I go to my room. Or like I'm really, really very tired. Like I cannot keep awake already, right? Then I'll be like, I'll tell my kids, if my kids now are older, I'll tell my kids, hey, I'm going to go in for a 15-minute nap. I'll just like disappear. I'll just like sleep for 15 minutes. I'll come back.
First few months will be difficult. I think it's also recognizing that it really takes a village to raise a child. Sometimes the moms, I think, has inability to let go is very real. Like we feel that we are the only one that can best manage them. Yeah, but it's also trusting that our husband, our parents, friends can also play a part to help us.
Is it hard to have that trust though?
Yeah, for me, I had this great fear. Like, it's a fear that is irrational and it grips me. I really feel like my kids are going to die, like literally die, if I'm not around them. So I remember the first time, I think after 6 weeks when I went to watch a movie, right? Like the movie started, I was looking at my clock. I'm like, how long is this movie going to be? And then I just keep checking my watch. I'm like, I need to go home to my baby right now. I just feel like something's gonna happen to him if I don't go home now. Which is totally not real lah. It's totally irrational. Yeah. So it really took me a while to get to the point where I start to realize that, hey, truly, like he has a life on his own lah. I'm the one who gave birth to him, but I'm not the giver of life. Yeah. And should his life really, if should anything happen to him and it is out of my control lah. Yeah. I feel like that part was very hard for me to give up. Yeah.
Similar, although I felt that my husband was better at the baby. But I still felt like as a mom, I had to be present. I felt I would feel guilty if I were to go out, have fun, like meet my friends. It's that mom's guilt lah that I have to be 24/7 present.
Real.
Yeah, if not, I'm not a good mom.
So
Yeah.
even if you all have me time, you all may not fully enjoy it.
Yeah, I
is
think
it?
our mind will never be fully present. I mean, especially in the initial months, like always thinking about the baby, is the baby sleeping, drinking. Yeah.
Do you think mom's guilt is an instinctive thing or is it learned? Like
Wow. I mean,
expectations of motherhood, things like that.
when I went to the movie, then I realized how deep the mom guilt can be. It's like, then I realized, wow,
And it's instinctive.
yeah, I never thought that I would have that. I'm not a super, like, you know, I love kids a lot and my entire purpose is like I want to raise
a
kids.
mom
It's not like that.
yeah.
But like when I had a kid, I feel like so responsible.
Yeah.
And like if I am not planning or thinking or, you know, being with them, I really feel like, you know, I'm shirking my responsibility. Yeah.
But I think it's both instinctive and maybe learned. Social media, right? I mean, they talk about influencers, mom. Don't know how they do it, right? But they are always there, bring the kids to travel around. So in a way, I think it's also learned, maybe subconsciously. We are feeding our minds with all these images, notions. Yeah.
How do you still have part of yourself, or you know, like I mean, I hear of the phrase also that a happy mom, a happy healthy mom will also lead to like a happy healthy kid. Yeah, like what does that like look like for you guys?
I think for me, definitely faith plays a big part. Understanding like what Shunyi said also, that we are not the giver of life, right? This child, this baby is given to us and we are to steward the child.
Yep.
Right? And precisely because of the very, very real struggle of lack of control also comes the good news that the baby is in God's hands. I don't have to parent in fear. I can parent in faith, right? That I do all that I can, drawing on his strength and trusting him for the outcome. So I think it's very freeing to know that I still do my best, right? But I don't have to beat myself up if I don't know, I lose my temper. I don't have to beat myself up if I don't have enough milk for the baby. Yeah, so it's with this perspective shift that I think it really frees me up to still give my best, but not striving for perfection, because there isn't a perfection, even as a mama. Yeah.
Wow. So it's a bit like even like you wouldn't have that fear of my best is not good enough for my kid. Like that you can rest that your best is sufficient.
Like even if it's not sufficient, God will top it up.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, of course, it's a journey lah. I mean, here and there we'll still fall
Still feel
back.
guilty.
Yeah, like we need to do more. But it's always reminding myself, like going back to the whole idea that God is in control. I can rest. I can give my best. Yeah. But and trusting Him for the outcome.
Yeah, actually, like when I first went back to work, and then I think as my kid grew a bit, then his separation anxiety also grew, because he then realizes that he's a separate body from me, right? So when like he's always wailing at the door when I leave.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you know,
Heartbeat.
it was really like really heartbreaking for me. I actually went to my bosses and considered quitting. Yeah, so I really did consider like becoming a full-time mother. Yeah, because I really like felt very responsible for my child. Yeah. But actually it was through that whole process of speaking with my bosses, who are also very, very trusted friends of mine, that I realized that, hey, you know, I have there's more of me than just a mother. Yeah. I think they really reminded me about like what some of my gifts were, some of my purpose, some of the conversations that I had with them before I became a mother. And I think that conversation helped me to revisit some of these convictions and some of these like thoughts or beliefs about myself, like a bit like what you said, like values that you want to live by. And I realized that, you know, it's not that becoming a full-time mother cannot do so, but I really am quite excited about my own job as well, and the things that I can offer as a person that's not just a mother. Yeah, and I think that kind of conversation and that journey of like realizing helped me to realize that, hey, you know, if I am living who I am as a person, that's also healthy for my kid. Yeah, so a bit like what you say, like actually a healthy mother leads to a healthy child. It's true. If I will have to really leave everything behind and just become a mother, right, I might actually not be a good mother, I feel. To my kid.
Yeah, similar. I think for me, going back to work was a way to maintain my sanity. I mean, not to say that full-time mom is bad or what.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's not- it's
different
just a
people
journey.
has different
Yes.
callings.
Correct.
Some, they really excel in their role as a full-time mom.
Correct.
Yeah, but I think for me, it's also, I knew from the start that I would take a no-pay leave, but I will want to go back to work. Yeah, and realizing that I can contribute in my workplace is very uplifting to me. And I go back to my home knowing that, okay, now I can be the best mom to my kid.
Yeah, okay, I just gotta say, right, this episode is not giving me a lot of confidence to become a mother. And I'm sure those of you who struggle will also feel the same way, if not even more than me. So, Can you tell us about the joys of motherhood? It's something very daunting.
You lose some, but you gain some, right?
Definitely. I think definitely the gains are a lot.
Yes.
Many joys. I don't even know where to start. Okay.
Yeah.
I think for me, the greatest joy is watching my boys grow up, hitting their different milestones. Just recently, my younger boy, 14 months, started walking. Wow, I just look at him and I almost teared, because likely he will be the last baby. So I think it's so precious to see how they grow. Now that my older boy is 4, he can talk. He asks about a lot of things and we can engage in very interesting conversation.
Like
very, very funny. Recently, I was telling my boy, because now he's very close to the daddy, my husband, right? Because the daddy knows a lot about encyclopedia, Pokemon, which I try to up my standard a bit, but very hard to engage. So then he will say things like, daddy is smarter, daddy is better. Wow, so hurtful.
This will kill you.
Yeah, I was like,
You
no
come
way.
here now.
Yeah, so what I did is that I sat him down. 4 years old, can understand, right? Then I told him, okay, what Mama is going to do with you now is to list down things that Mama is good in. I literally went through him. Mama is good.
Evidence.
Right, Mama is good at comforting you. Remember the time you cried, then I hugged you, you felt better. Mama is good at picking you up early from school because my work is more flexible. So I went through, then after that I asked him, so what have you learned? Oh, Mama is also good. Yeah, well done. So I mean, it's funny, but these are really conversations that I have with him to just help you understand that. So I did share with him that I was a bit hurt when you said, only daddy is good. So then he was like, oh, okay, sorry. And we had conversations like that. I think at this age, they are beginning to understand a bit more. Yeah. So it's very meaningful, funny, and I think very meaningful at the same time.
So I just want to say that I knew Huiwei when she was a uni student and she was super competitive. Like even the guys are scared of her. I've heard stories of her like carrying a grown men, like NSF men, like in like games or something.
Yeah.
Like she really super strong. So you have not lost that part of you, I must say.
Thank
Like
you.
the competitive yes. You remain true
Yeah, so
to
I must not lose
yourself.
to my husband. But competitive. Yeah, but jokes aside, I think all these are very rewarding to watch them grow. Yeah, and especially now that 2 boys are the way they interact with each other, very heartening to just be able to witness their growth and to have that chance to steward them in this lifetime. So I think that's
I think because
something.
like if it's going back to I guess how you view parenting as like maybe not something that you need to have control over or have to like give your best and it has to be the best. But going back to like what you said is to steward a life.
So it makes the whole
Joy.
process a lot more enjoyable without having to tag it to like a outcome that I must reach. So I think at this breakthrough really came after my second boy. I realized there's so many things I cannot control. No matter what I do, still don't sleep well. So might as well just enjoy. Embrace and enjoy lah. Yeah.
Are there things that maybe about the way y'all were brought up that you're very mindful to not do that with your kids?
When my older son was born, the first comment my mom made was, why he looks like that? And then I realized that actually she places a lot of emphasis on looks. It does influence me because I think subconsciously sometimes I'll be very mindful. Like he has no cartoon shirt at home because like, I forbid him from buying. So I realized, because I want him to look like good in my terms lah. And sometimes when he goes to a nearby coffee shop, he just anyhow wear, I'll be very upset. So I realized, okay, this could be influenced by some of the things that probably my parents passed down. So it's a very good reminder to pause and reflect on some of our views and perspectives. How are we bringing up our child? Because if we don't pause, if you didn't mention, actually, I wouldn't think that it's a problem. I just want my child to look presentable. But I think deeper underlying thing is, am I then saying that he's only worthy if he looks good? If ever he is not, doesn't look good, then do I not love him? So I thought that was a very good question.
Wow, when Huiwei was sharing that, right, like I realized that that's also something that happens to me because I think I'm most triggered by my kids' antics when they are in public. Because
Yes.
I feel like people would look at them and judge whether or not I'm a good parent. And I feel like that is how my mother sees it. Like her entire identity is whether or not we are good children. And it's like if we are not performing as a good children, then she has failed as a mother. That's her entire identity lah. So I realized that was also how I'm very, very easily triggered by my kid if they are like, misbehaving outside in public. So I think
you actually think whether would people view you that way also? Is
No,
it?
I think like
No.
at the point of time, I don't think about it. Like I would just be very, very triggered and then I would like correct them, right? But now that you mentioned, I realize that it's true that a part of it is because like I want to be perceived as a good parent, lor.
As much as our kids, they learn and they grow, right?
Yeah.
We are also learning and growing.
Yeah.
I think it takes so
Yes.
much out of me to apologize.
Yes.
Wow,
To
yeah.
my boy, where actually he's in the wrong.
Correct.
Then he triggered me. That's why I got upset.
Correct. Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
So it's really, learning to just say sorry. It's okay. It
Yes.
doesn't. And when we say sorry, we're also teaching them that it's okay. You know,
Yeah.
there's no need to be so prideful about it.
Correct.
Yeah. And what's rewarding then is I realized I've grown a bit more. A bit
Yes.
more patient, a bit more forgiving.
Yes.
Yeah.
Was it very was it very hard for you to say sorry? Can you like walk us through that
Yeah,
moment?
because I'm very prideful.
Yeah, it's
For your
very
family
hard
also,
leh.
people don't say.
Correct.
so.
I grew up in
Yeah,
a family that
mine
my
also.
parents actually I don't even recall when they apologized to me.
Correct.
Yeah,
But they will
same,
apologize in a
never.
way that still make me feel bad. It's like, I scolded you because you first did this. So it's still my fault,
Still
right?
your fault.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah.
That's the thing. I feel like hearing your share, right, makes me realize that. I mean, sometimes we come onto an episode like that and then we talk about childhood trauma. But actually, when you hear from the parents, you realize that there's so much unlearning and
Yes.
like there's so much unlearning and processing to do on your own, unpacking your own upbringing, then deciding to not impose that on your kid. But maybe different people unpack at different speeds.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
some
yeah.
people maybe don't really unpack. And so you just kind of instinctively do the same thing lah
Yeah.
to your kids. Then those kids come out and then sit on the NGL couch and talk about their trauma.
Actually, can I ask, right? Like, do you feel that we need to do that first, like unpacking our childhood, like before we
Yeah.
become moms, or is it something that you feel that we can actually, it's possible to do even as a parent? In fact, as a parent,
Then
these
you
things
see
come
more.
out even more.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do y'all like because I say this because I think it is also one of the perhaps fear
Yeah,
that people have. They feel like they don't want to pass down generational trauma
yeah.
to kids, so they just don't want to have children.
Yeah.
What do you all
Correct.
have to say about that?
I think unless you really have an active plan to like discover these things, right? I would say that motherhood is not so much of losing yourself, but it's actually learning even more about yourself. Yeah, so I think definitely there are some traumas or there are some situations in life that you may want to work through, but I also think that there will be even more of it that you will uncover when you become a mother lah.
Yeah. On the job training lah. I mean,
Yeah,
you will never
yeah,
be
correct.
fully
Prepared.
100%
Yeah,
prepared.
correct.
Whichever role you step into or whichever relationship you go into.
True lah,
Yeah.
true.
So
Yeah.
then it's really I think for me it's being mindful that why did I say those things? Why did I react in a certain way? I think my emotions are signposts that
Yep.
something is not quite right within me. So it's
Right.
being intentional to reflect, to pause, to make sense of it. Because like you said, if we don't, then we are just moving from day to day, doing the same thing again and again. Yeah, reaping the same results. Yeah. So it's having the intentionality lah to reflect, to make sense of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's how like you'll really grow as a person. So it's not like you're losing
Yeah.
yourself in motherhood, but maybe motherhood is like any other kind of roles. It actually serves as a platform for you to grow more of a person than
Yeah.
who you were in the previous season. right?
Unlock a different facet
Definitely.
of life.
True lah.
Yeah. I definitely grew so much more in my security as a person, actually. That because I know that I will love my kid no matter how annoying my kid is. I have started to realize that actually others can love me however like weird or insane or quirky I am. Yeah, because I think that was something that I don't really truly believe about myself before I became a mother, I feel. Yeah, and my kid would come and tell me like, how much they love me. I see that pure joy and love that they have for me, even though I don't feel like I am pretty or attractive or whatever in my pajamas or whatever, then they will come and tell me like, oh mommy, you're so pretty, and I'm like, they are not saying it,
Very
you know.
cute. It's a childlikeness, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
the
then you
innocence
realize
and
that
childlikeness,
hey,
yeah.
like I mean the world to them. Yeah, and that's kind of like that's very, very satisfying and rewarding lah. Yeah. Don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, I remind myself that I will never be a perfect mom.
Yep.
But I can be the best mom I am to my kid. Best mom in the sense that in terms of the things I can do for him, the attitude, the perspective that I adopt.
Yep.
Yeah, best doesn't equate to perfect.
Yeah.
So recognizing that, sometimes when I feel that, wow, I'm a super cui, super lousy mom, reminding that my kid only has one mom, which is
Yes.
me. Yeah. So,
This gives me a bit more hope.
Same.
Turn the tide.
What I'm getting from this conversation is that the first year will be very hard. Set some realistic expectations of like the what you have to go through, the lack of sleep and all. But in the end, things will regulate out, and then you will know like how to carve out time for yourself, for your partner.
Correct. As you slowly get the hang of it with any role,
Yep.
you get better and better
It's
at
true.
it. Yeah. So there is hope, especially with a second child. Or just saying that second child is like, wow, I really enjoy parenthood now.
Yes.
So the moral of the
Same,
story
same.
is don't stop at one.
Yeah.
Go for 2, go for 3, it will get better. So I'm like PAP, don't stop at one.
Do y'all have any advice to, I guess, some of our listeners who may be keen to be parents but have some hesitations as of now?
Don't belittle yourself. I think we are more capable than we think we are. I mean, just the whole process of like birthing the
True.
baby, right? I mean, you're
That's
more
quite
capable than you
crazy.
think you are. And sometimes we may be held back by all the limitations or inadequacies. But when you go into the role, you rise to the occasion. So trust in the possibilities, not the limitations, not the
Wow.
inadequacies.
Wow.
Because I think motherhood really opened up so many possibilities in so many sense. Yeah, and you lose yourself in some sense because you lose the old self.
Yes.
And then you gain a new self who is more mature, more loving, hopefully more forgiving, patient, etc. Yeah, so while the concerns, reservations are real and we acknowledge that, but with many things, you need to take the leap of faith. Then you will see wonderful things. Yeah. So
That's nice.
yeah. And I think I've come to a point where I can say I truly enjoy motherhood. It brings so much joy. Yeah, I mean, still interrupted sleep, but I think all these pills in
Second kid
comparison.
also
Correct.
cannot sleep.
Also cannot sleep, but yeah, we'll get there. Like, yeah, it's just very, very joyful in so many sense.
Yeah. I think for me, it's more like the first thought that I have is to really acknowledge these fears. I think don't sweep it under a carpet and just because everybody tells you it's great or you just I think it's very good to honestly face some of these fears and even process through them with your spouse or with trusted friends, community, or even like with moms, like what
So
we're doing now, like it'll be like you, Zell, when you
Yeah.
come and talk to me about all these things. I think it's very, very good to actually look at all these fears honestly. But also I think we don't want to just live trapped by our fears also. Yeah, I think like what we say is like actually sometimes it really is taking a leap of faith and trusting that you have more capacity to love and you have more capacity to grow than you think lah.
Yeah, and really don't believe the lie that you're alone.
Yeah.
Because I think that was the lie that I believed in the first few months with my older child, that I was all alone. My peers, they are not married, they don't have children, they cannot relate.
Yes.
But I think, because of the lie I believed, all the more I spiraled, I felt lonely. But when I realized, actually I don't need my friends to be in the same season of life to empathize, to care about me.
Correct.
So then that really changed my whole perspective. Know that you're not alone. No matter how much your hormones, your emotions tell you that you're alone, don't believe that lie. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much for being so real with your fears, your struggles, and also the joys. I think think it's good that we learn how to see everything with the right perspective.
Yep.
Yeah. If you have more questions about motherhood, please drop them in the comments below so that we could get our moms to answer them. And if you really like this episode, I really personally enjoyed it. Or if people who are planning to be parents or they're just scared, just send this video along to them. Hopefully it will help them to know that they are not alone, like what Huiwei said. The fears and the struggles that they are going to experience are things that, moms have gone through and live to tell the tale with so much joy and gratefulness also. We hope that this episode really shed some light on what motherhood can look like, both the pains and the gains. If you enjoyed this episode, we have more episodes on different areas of life as well. You can find us on YouTube as well as Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you like to see behind the scenes or upcoming episodes as well, you can find us on Telegram channel. And you can see us also on social media. You can find us on TikTok and Instagram at ngl.people. So with that, we hope you enjoyed this episode and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.